All right, guys, welcome back to Kamisha Reviews, the queen of reality TV. Now, I did tell you guys I was watching, the Outlast this show, and I got me and my dude was watching it, and I think I binged the entire season like on one Saturday. I just remember I was off, and it was cold outside. I had the fireplace going. Literally, that was the whole vibe. I watched the entire season, and I could not stop watching. I was like, oh my god, I've got to talk to some of these men on this show. Anyway, no further ado, I'm very excited to say I have Paul on here. Like, when I say like Superman's what I call him behind the scenes. Welcome, welcome. did
You
did
got,
I
you
give
got
you
me
a good
blushing
little
already,
intro?
Kamisha.
Did I give you a good intro there? Yes,
Thank you.
welcome.
Thanks.
How are you, first of all?
Good. Finally getting back to a healthy me, both physically and mentally. So everything's good.
Yes, you do look. Like I said, he's very handsome. He looks like he's been doing some things. Because in the, like the video I watched, I'm like, okay, did he like lose more weight today? Like every time I was watching, I was like, oh my god, he's disappearing. So yes, you do look very healthy, look very, very good.
Thank you.
I want to start by asking you, how did you? Because this is a reality TV show at the end of the day, even though the nature of everything. How did you get involved with this? Was you recruited or was you seeking out reality TV?
Yeah. So I've always you've seen the show Alone. I've always just loved that show, and was just sitting around and just Googled, okay, how do you do this? How do you get on these shows? And you know how social media algorithms work. It picked up, and you start getting spammed and flooded with these things. So this one piqued my interest, and I sent in the little bio, and then there's a couple of months of interviews, and here we are.
Wow, that's amazing.
Yeah.
So, getting on the show, did you have any expectations? And I know you said you was a fan of Alone, which I watched. I'm still watching it right now, actually. But getting on here, did you have any expectations at all?
Yeah, I mean, when we went into it, or when I went into it, rather, I was expecting it to be like Alone. Actually, there's a survival series, and it turned out as you found out, it was anything but. It was more of a social experiment,
Yes.
which was pretty wild. So yeah, everything that I expected it to be went out the window. Totally different
Mm.
than what I expected. Yeah.
Did you already have a a strategy when you initially went in the game?
So I did, but again, it was a strategy built on survival
Mm.
and not on social survival, but more on survival. So all of that went out the window. I think the first week or two, everyone was kind of following that survival strategy they had in place. But then once the social game started going on, that all went out the window. So it was, yeah, regardless of what you came into with, your mindset you came in with, it changed pretty rapidly.
You adapted very quickly, and I will say that yes, you know even as a blogger, even just I'll say as a fan watching the show initially, I was expecting something more survivor-esque. And I literally told everybody I know you need to watch the show because it's nothing like I thought it was gonna be. It's more of a social thing, a lot of drama. I'm just being honest.
Yeah.
So, and most men don't involve themselves in drama. I'm just being honest. My dad was like such a military man, like So from looking at you, I'm just like I know he probably was like, oh my god, I didn't sign up for drama. So I'm gonna get into that, but I just want to know just face value, the drama starting, you're looking at it like, man, this is not what I came into this. Like, what was your mindset once the little bit started peeking through?
Yeah, it was crazy because, at first you're isolated from the other teams. So you just have the other three people that you're with, and you're trying to build that cohesive unit and trying to figure each person out, their skill sets and their backgrounds and how you're going to mesh. And for the most part, you have four people with alpha personalities. So that right away is you can expect drama to happen. And
Right.
first 3 or 4 days, it's just filling everyone out, and then slowly you would start to see the drama come out in your team.
Mm.
So you got to keep in mind it was probably 2 weeks before we knew what was going on with the other teams, or even got a hint of what was going on. It was such a shock, environmental shock, being thrown in Alaska. It rained 7 straight days and nights. You know, a shoddy shelter, no food. So you add all of that onto four people with alpha personalities, and you're stressed and you're hungry, and yeah, it's just a dynamite kick ready to go off.
Your background and everything, did it prepare you for the weather? And I'm saying that because a lot of things stood out to me about the show, but for me, because I'm a big like, look, if it's raining and cold, I mean, I'm in Texas, I'm in the South, so you have to understand with a
Okay.
big weather here is probably nothing for like y'all or whatever. But so did it prepare you at all? Because the weather was horrible. I'm sorry, it was.
Yeah. So, I mean, I live in Tennessee now for the last 6 years and Eastern
Oh
Kentucky
wow.
before that. So the weather's
Mhm.
not too bad, right?
Right.
So no, the first 3 or 4 days, it's miserable. It is miserable. You're feeling like you're hypothermic. You just can't acclimate. But after about 7 days, your body starts to acclimate, and then there's hunger comes in, and then stress of being there, and that's kind of goes away. It's not even part of it anymore.
Wow. So your body naturally, that's what I'm going to ask you. Did your body naturally adapt to the extreme conditions?
Yeah, it acclimated pretty quickly. I've been blessed that I worked in the mining industry most of my life, so I traveled a lot in the north.
Mm.
A lot into Canada, out in Montana, China, places like. It was very cold in rural areas, so I was used to that anyway. So that helped me some, but still, it took a few days for my body to acclimate and get used to that weather.
Right, right, right. Okay, so I want to talk about the food real quick. I have to get into that too.
Mm.
So to me, I'm from Louisiana, so I love seafood. But
Mm.
when I watched this, I didn't want to eat any fish. Like I just didn't want to eat any fish. Like, do you eat fish now? I know it's
Oh
been like, was it been a
yeah,
year since it's been filmed or whatever?
yeah,
Uh,
I still do.
you still eat fish?
Yeah, yeah. Look, it was the best thing. So, when you go 4 weeks without eating anything and now you've got
Mm,
protein, it was the best thing. Some of the things they didn't show, like, they had the crab traps, right? And they said they had
yes.
some people had crabs. I was one of the only people who didn't get a crab on the show, by the way. Yeah, I
Are
was
you serious?
yeah, I was going hunting when that happened, so I never got one. But one of the things that were provided with that crab trap, and they don't show it, is each crab trap was set with a can of cat food. So that's what they said it with. And that if you won that task and you got the crab trap, that was part of it. So we had these crab traps, but the crab was gone. So there was 2 cans of cat food sitting there. We also ate the cat food, by the way. So
Oh my God.
it's crazy. I haven't
Yeah.
eaten more cat food, but the fish is great. Yeah. You'll eat
Oh
anything.
my
Yeah, it's
God.
crazy.
Well, like I said, I guess as far as you being hungry, if you want to eat, you're gonna eat. It is what it is, I guess. Ooh, Lord have mercy, I don't know how y'all did it, Jesus. I don't know.
Yeah.
So, okay, you and Jordan, seem like y'all really had like a bond. I want to
Yeah.
say, I feel like the extreme conditions, bombs are gonna be made anyway in this environment.
Yeah.
Tell me about that a bit.
Yeah, Jordan. I like Jordan right off. He's a military guy, young kid, full of dreams. I mean, you could, at my age, I'm pushing 50 now, so I could just kind of see myself in that. His aspirations, and he had just a great outlook on things, and
Mhm.
I just liked him right away.
Right.
I was kind of drawn toward that. We had a lot of late nights by the fire, just he and I setting up,
Right.
keeping the fire going, and so we just formed that bond and that relationship. So that was a tough one. That was a tough one seeing my buddy go like that.
It seemed like it affected a lot of people once he left. It seemed like it was like the domino effect. I want to say that was the catalyst of, kind of what happened after.
Yeah,
Why do you think that was when he left? It really just changed the entire game, especially
yeah.
for you.
So that was. I think that was just coincidental, right? I'm definitely that set off that changed my strategy in the game, right? Before
Okay.
it was team strategy with the team that I had. But once I lost Jordan, what you don't see also, there's no ill will at all. But Don and I fought every single day from day one.
Wow.
Yeah, and you don't see that. I mean, it was like super aggressive, screaming. Um, I was called a dumb hillbilly on like day 3 or 4, and that's fine. If you can call me dumb because I lack education, or you can call me a hillbilly because of where I live, but I'm not one because of the other. And so we just had some friction, and she's a good person. I mean, it is what it is, but. So there was kind of a wedge driven there between the team as far as my concern.
Yes,
And when I lost Jordan, I kind of lost that connection because Don and Joel had a really good relationship
they
together.
did. Hmm.
And so yeah, that kind of left me hung out. And another thing they don't show on the show is, after Jordan left, I had a conversation with Joel, and I let Joel know that, hey, I can't stay here. That I will be if he doesn't come back, I'm leaving.
Mm.
So they want to act like I bailed without telling anybody, but that's not true. They knew I was leaving.
Yes, that's what's gonna be one of my questions. Was like, they did like, okay, he left. They're pissed. We're out of here. We're throwing in the towel. You know, okay. So for you, you said you told them or whatever. Why are they saying that you didn't? Like, it looked really
Yeah,
bad. Even though I was kind of
yeah.
like, maybe the
So
survivor the fittest.
yeah, so the conversation I had, the day before Jordan left, they actually took him out for med check, and I had it with Joel only because Joel and I had a little bit of a relationship. It's not like he and Don. And Joel wanted to keep the team together. He's a great guy, and he thought we could pull it off. But I knew that Don and I just couldn't mesh, and it was just. And I'll tell you another thing later on so. Anyways, I told Joe. I said, Joe, look, if he doesn't come back, I'm leaving. And he asked, "Are you dropping out?" I'm like, "No, I'm leaving teams." And he's like, "No, let's fix this." So yeah, he knew I was leaving, but what I didn't tell him is when I was leaving.
Okay.
So they are kind of truthful on that. So as soon as we got the letter and they said, "Hey, he's not coming back," I packed my gear and I left.
Because it looks like it was the middle of the night. It looks like no, you didn't. I think the confession or the voiceover you hear, I went early in the morning. So
yeah, actually, it was about 11 o'clock in the day, and
okay,
yeah, everyone was out doing their own thing, and I just got my gear and I left. Like I didn't take anything. Like I'd made a lot of tools. I'd made some fishing poles, some flies, a dit net. Like there's tons of stuff I could have taken, but I didn't. The only thing I took was my personal gear, and that was it. So and the crab trap. A lot of people, I get a lot of hate. Like you stole their crab traps. I didn't. If you watched and paid attention, I bartered with Angie to borrow that. I was going to set their crab traps for some of their crab because we had a really good raft, right? And they didn't.
right. Mm-hmm.
So the deal was I would set their crab traps and pull their crab and they'd give us a third of their crab. So Angie said, "Hey, do you have a crab trap?" I'm like, "No." She would take this one and learn how to tie the knot. So that was a barter that I had made with, Charlie. That didn't belong to D. So when I left, I returned that to Angie. So I took nothing but my own gear.
Oh, got you. Okay. So what was do you think it was a smart move because you did not take the initial bite to join Camp Charlie? What was the reasoning behind that?
Yeah. So again, at first, when we were a full team, we didn't want to leave. At one time, we were the only team with 4 full members because I think we had 4 people quit in the first 3 days. Other teams.
Right.
So we had the strongest team at the time. But once we lost Jordan, and then our dynamic started falling apart with Don and I clashing every day, it was just a matter of time. So again, at first, like I said, the first little bit, it was about being a team and staying with my original team. But when my original team fell apart, it was time for me to find a home. Yeah. Another thing you don't see on there is as I was leaving to go to Charlie Camp, and they don't show this either, but Dawn was actually speaking with Charlie Camp as I was walking in, and she was asking
Really?
them if they had room, and they were like, "No, I think we're good." But they knew I was coming.
Right.
But she said, "Well, what about there's 2 of us that get along and one of us that we don't get along with very well? Would you take 2 of us?" So she was going to leave me hung up to dry anyways.
Oh wow. And people don't even know that.
No,
What
they
was
don't.
her issue with you though? What was Dawn's why was y'all clashing?
Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, you've got all these A-type personalities, and we
Mhm,
just
mhm.
whatever reason we didn't hit it off. We're fine. We talk every once in a while now, and
Okay.
actually the day she left on the raft, she said, "Hey, Paul, I still love you."
Okay.
We just couldn't look. She's a great person. She's such a strong woman, and we just clash. Sometimes you just don't get along with people, and that just happened to be at that time we just didn't get along with each other.
I want to ask you a question.
Mhm.
So I, of course, reached out to a few of you guys, and you guys have been really awesome. But one thing I will say is I reached out to Jill, and
Yeah,
her response was like, "I don't want to have anything to do with this show. Just
yeah.
someone want to support it." I was like, okay. So at first, I'm like thinking, what happened? Because I didn't get that from anybody else. But I was like, say, what happened with this show for that response to be that first time messaging you?
Yeah. So I won't speak much on that. But
Okay.
I can tell you there was a lot of heat um, between her and the show, and her
Okay.
and the fans, and it was. So I'll tell you,
Oh, okay.
if you know you can get on some of the websites and stuff and just look at the banter back and forth, and if you've listened to any of the podcasts that she's done, you can see what she's went through. I've not spoken to her in forever. She's completely cut herself off from the show, and I don't blame her. Like, if there's all of us get tons of support and tons of hate from fans, and they're both welcome. But I think she probably gets more than anyone else, and just yeah, I won't speak much more on it than that. But other than there's a
No, I
lot.
understand that. I really wasn't really asking you to get too much into why,
Yeah,
but just because you guys' experiences are so different, I'm just,
yeah,
and I honestly would have thought that Don would be the one that feel that way. And I guess it's why my confusion because Jill was so close at the end, and a lot of people I saw supporting her. Maybe I didn't see the negative, but what I'm gonna say is as far as reality TV, you're
yeah.
going to get that. I'm a
Well,
blogger and I get that.
yeah,
I'm not even on TV. So I
yeah.
can't imagine what you guys get.
Yeah. And it can be overwhelming at times. And if I think she's pretty open with, I think I can say this about, she's pretty open with her past, and she went through a lot. She has a lot of trauma that she's PTSD stuff she's trying to deal with. So it just
Right, right.
triggers a lot of stuff.
There's a lot of stuff. Yeah, I
And
got it.
yeah, and tons of friction with her and the show and the outcome of it. And it just got really nasty. So I
Wow.
think for her peace of mind, she just said, you know what, I'm just going to separate myself from this. And I get that. I get that.
I do too. I do. I understand. I mean, she wasn't like mean or anything. It just when I saw the answer, I was taken aback and I was like, wow, that's
Yeah.
a really. But but okay, so I understand completely. So I know like I said, I know you guys' experiences are different. I've talked to cast members shows, and I know cast members who will not even have the show they were on their page. So I
Yeah.
do understand, and I've talked to a few that have done that. So,
Mm.
um, did you know that people looked at you as an asset? Because when I watched the show, that's the way I saw you. I was like, he's a really good asset. He's really got all the different talents. Where did he come from? It's like Superman.
No, I mean, I didn't pick up on it. I think because I was the oldest guy there, that I had a little bit of, life experience, a little bit of knowledge, and maybe I think we all leaned on each other evenly. We all had our strengths, and when I say all, when I went to Charlie camp, like the moment I walked in, I was like, I'm home. We all
Mm,
meshed really well. We all realized what our strengths and our weaknesses was, and we just kind of, each of us filled that gap. And no one was trying to be, oh, I'm going to be the leader, or this is my show, or it's going to go this way. And it just worked out great. So I never seen myself as an asset. I just didn't want to be a deficit either. I just want to make sure I carried my,
mm.
yeah.
Do you think that on a show like this, because it kind of gives me the tease of like, the challenge or Big Brother, not the same concept, but of course it's a social experiment at the end of the day.
Yeah.
That letting people know or showing that you have a skill set, because in this type of environment, you have to have some type of survivor skill set.
Yeah.
Do you think it's wise?
Yeah, 100%. And that's one thing, unfortunately, with, I think it was 8 episodes is all we had on this show. They could have literally done 16 episodes, because what
Wow.
got lost on the cutting floor is just thousands of hours of actual skill sets, bushcraft, survival. Like everyone on that show had a skill set that wasn't shown, whether it be foraging or bushcraft or hunting or fishing or whatever it may be. And I think a lot of that got lost on the editing floor, and I wish we would have seen more of that. So yeah, each of us brought something to the table, and unfortunately, it just didn't make it to the show.
Like Alone, when I watch Alone, I say, wow, they're showing all these different things. They got these different tools. And I'm like,
Yeah,
I'm trying to understand, is your show more of a social experiment and there's more of a survivor? Do you know what I'm saying? I'm watching, I'm trying to compare.
for sure. It's almost like you take Alone and Survivor and just mash it together.
Ah,
Yeah, it's Survivor in Alaska, basically, is what it is.
it
Yeah,
is.
yeah.
It's interesting. How did you deal with the sleeping bag gate? Let's go ahead and go there because that's
Yeah. Oh wow, how much time do we have? So, as a fan, oh wow, it's crazy. I can appreciate the gameplay there. People get so vested in reality TV, and it's so it so they get upset that this happened, and they throw so much hate at a particular individual that done this. I get that, and that means the show done its job, right? If you can get someone that vested that they get mad at a person, but as gamemanship, it was pretty smart. Where you've got to get down to the last team. It's cold. You're starving. It's $1 million on the line. Let's get some people out of here, because if we're going to be hanging around for 6-8 months if we don't. So I think it was pretty smart play. It was a ballsy play. It's not something that me or our team would have done. We wouldn't have went to that level, but I'm not mad at it at all.
Because a few players who weren't involved were upset. Javier, just a lot, and I just once that was done, the game changed. Watching
Oh,
it, I felt like, okay, this is a challenge.
yeah,
This is completely different now.
for sure. That was the actual turning point in the game. That's when it really turned into the I guess it really took a turn big
It
time.
did, man.
Yeah, all the drama really came out. Hey, wow, it went like next level. And one of the things that people don't realize is we didn't have privy to a lot of this stuff going on. So when you watch it in the show, it seems like we knew this was happening, but you got to realize we're a quarter of a mile away, and
Right.
so we have to walk down to see. We hear this noise going on, and actually, when the sleeping bags were stolen, they Joel and Don came into our camp first because I had just left a day or two before.
Mm-hmm.
So they thought it was me, and so they came into our camp.
Mm-hmm.
I get that, and we're the closest camp. Who would expect someone to cross the frozen river to do that?
Yes.
Yeah. So we allowed them to come in our camp, and they looked, and it was just nuts. But that really set the game on edge, and I think that happened. That happened after Javier and Jill had their falling out. It was all about the same time. Time.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So that really set the game on its end there. So yeah, what a crazy turn of events, and I think it really kind of made the show. If I'm being honest with you, as some people perceive it low or whatever, that really made the show, I believe.
I mean, because look, Javier's partner left. That was the first domino. Boom. He even said, like, when he heard it, I really thought he wanted to leave anyway, to be honest. This is me saying it, but I kind of got what he was saying, like, oh, this is too much for me. I mean, I'm not gonna do no, because it was so cold outside. When you guys kept saying it, wow, the sleeping bags is cold out here. And when they showed them trying to sleep, I can understand why that part was hard to watch. I'm not gonna lie. When they were trying to sleep that night, and it was like I said, they could have really actually got hypothermia,
Yeah.
That was a little hard pill to swallow.
It was crazy. And kudos to Don and Joel. They did not flare out right away. They toughed it out for a day.
They really did. They really did.
So
it was rough.
those are some hardcore people to tough that out. If it were me, I would never played it that way. I would want it to end, in the last person standing on your own skill set. But I get it. Justin was playing a game.
He was.
Yeah, and he took ownership of it. I had him on podcast after, and he's like, yeah, I did it. It was to move the game along, and I take ownership of it. So, right or wrong, it really set the game on its ear. Not that I would have done it, but I'm not mad about it either.
I want to talk about your last leg in the race. I call it. I run track and everything. So last leg of the race. Man, once you knew, because I feel like you guys got started. Tell me how you felt when it was time to do that. Before you went to that water.
Yeah, it was rough. Like, we're starving to death. We had the fish, but what we've done with that fish is, we've got it laid out to last us for another 2 months. So we'll get a small piece of it a day, and that's it. So we were just prolonging the inedible, starving to death. So our body was catabolic. We were done. I won't say we were done. I mean, eventually it would have came to it. So everyone was just running on fumes. And so a helicopter comes, it drops this thing out, and it's going to be a race tomorrow. And all we know is, it says, hey, be prepared to stay overnight, take what you can carry. So we didn't know how long of a race it was. Could have been 8 miles, could have been 20. We had no idea. So, you have a general idea of where you're going, somewhere in a narrow straight. And they don't show this for whatever reason. There's 4 miles of this race that you don't see. And there's a raft in the narrow straight. So the first team to that raft has an advantage getting to the island, right? So they don't have to wait.
Right.
It's only big enough for one team. So, we go out and we kind of look at what we have to do, and we have a choice to make. We can either go around that river, and that's another hour travel, or we can just man up and wade that thing. And so, we decided, hey, in the morning, if the tide's low enough, we're just going to roll it up and go at it. And we did 7 crossings in like 30-degree water. It was crazy.
That was so scary and dangerous. And do you think that was a smart decision opposed to them walking? Because the people who were watching with me was like, "Oh, the water is a smart move." I said, "But they got to cross a lot of water though." And I was
Yeah,
thinking that, I was thinking that y'all gonna kind of meet, and y'all kind of did. But smart decision, you think, going through the water, even though it was kind of scary.
yeah, 100%. I think it was an hour and 20 minutes. It cut off that race. So,
Oh wow.
so yeah, very smart. You should have seen like when we got into the water. No one expected that to happen, including the safety and film crew. I guess I can talk about this now. Like
Right.
they
Yeah.
were hustling, trying to get boats to come if they could get close to us, and they're hours away to getting to us because they never expect if something would have went down, right, and we would have went
Of
under.
course. Of course.
It was a dangerous move, very unexpected, but it was a smart move to make. Yeah, everything worked out.
The scary move to me is when y'all got to some of the waters and they got like the waist high. That is because at first a lot of the water was so low. I was like, okay, there should be fine. They went a short distance. A lot of it to me it got scary for me. I was like, oh my god, that last
Yeah,
few ones. I was like, oh my god. He was like, it's and the guy his boots dropping the water. I was like, oh, I was just like, this is a monster. So
yeah. It was bad. The tide was coming up, and I turn around and it's chest high on me, and I'm 6'3", and Seth's like
wow.
5, on a good
Yeah.
5'6", 5'7" on a good day, and I turn around and it's at his beard. So thankfully that was the last one. But yeah, it was. But we were prepared to swim it. Whatever it took, we were going to cross those rivers.
I know y'all had production freaking out. Guys, it's at this chin. I can just see the radio.
Yeah, they were going nuts. They did not expect us to do that. So.
Y'all was some G's for that though. Like really, y'all really were, man. I swear. And when y'all got to the end and got to the money, I felt like, and I'm going to be transparent when I say this. I said, out of all the teams, this is the team that stuck to everything they said from jump, didn't waver, didn't do anything crazy or too shady or whatever. You know what I'm saying? I feel like they didn't go against their beliefs and they got the win. And I just wonder, was that the reason why y'all got it out of everyone else? Because you didn't play dirty. I'm just being honest.
I'm a big believer in karma, and I think life gives you what you put into it. So I think it had a lot to do with it for sure. And I think that when I say we were all playing for each other, we really was. We spent a lot of time with each other. You get like 6 hours of daylight, so the rest of the time you're laying in the dark talking to these people. And I know it's only 40 days, but there's things that they know about me and I know about them that probably their closest family members don't. You're very vulnerable there, and you connect through trauma probably quicker than anything else. So I know why they were out there. I know what they were playing for. I know what that meant for them. They knew why I was out there. So when I was crossing that river, I was crossing it for Seth's reason. I was crossing it for Nick's reason. I was crossing it for Angie's reason, even though she wasn't there anymore. And they were doing the same thing. So I think it would have been very hard to beat us. It'd been very hard for anybody to beat us on that day, I believe.
Okay, so I'm gonna talk about this part when I thought you were gonna make it, and I got emotional watching because I was like screaming in my TV. I was like, "Look," and I was talking to you like I knew you. I was like, "I know that right now." I said, "I know right now you don't have it." I'm looking at you, and if it was me, I'd probably be still in the back. I said, "But you've got to the end here. I feel like you're almost done." And the guy was way ahead. I said, "Bro, I believe in Paul." I'm just yelling at the screen when you sat there when you prayed. I was like, and when you got that last, it's like someone. I'm being honest. From the screen, it looked like somebody pushed you spiritually. That's the way it looked to me. So please tell me about that moment. It was so important.
Sure, I got to take a minute now. You got me on to I had so this show, if nothing else, even if I hadn't take the money out of the show, the people that means so much to me from this show are my true family still. They're friends, they're strangers, are now family. We still hang out together still. We talk every single day still yet.
Wow.
We vacation with each other. We stay at each other's homes. So we're really tight. I had a bumpy relationship with God for whatever reasons. And we weren't on the best of terms. And so one thing this show did, besides not only about the family, but it was a physical cleanse and also a spiritual cleanse. You spend so much time in your own head that anything that you've been burying or hiding, it's coming out. It's going to come out. You don't have to face it there. So every day I'd started praying again, and it wasn't for once. I wasn't praying for him to help me do this or give me that. I was trying to find that reason why and the connection again.
Yeah.
And everything is filmed. Everything is filmed. But I would ask for 10 minutes every morning when I woke up. Give me 10 minutes to talk to God. Just give me 10 minutes. I don't want it filmed. Just let me have that relationship. So I was able to lean on that. And I was, when we started off, I said, hey, look, guys, I'm the oldest guy. Let me set the pace. If I start to falter, just pass me up. Just don't get out of eyesight.
Okay.
But let me set the pace. So the first 4.5, 5 miles, they couldn't keep up. And then I started blacking out going through the trees, the laydowns.
Yeah.
So each time I would crawl through one and stand up, I would literally black out.
Mm.
So it just wiped me out. In the end, I was seeing in black and white. I couldn't even see in color.
Oh my
And you're
God.
right. When I hit my knee and I prayed, and I came up on my feet, in my mind, my feet were only sliding 3 inches at a time. So I just wasn't. I was out of it. It wasn't me. I'd hit something else. I'd hit a wall, and once I broke through that wall, it was in His hands. Then.
It was. It was. I'm telling you. Everyone we all was sitting there. We was emotional. We was talking about. It was a spiritual moment for a lot of people who watched it because I said, I rewound it. I said it looks like somebody literally pushed him.
Yeah.
I mean, like God pushed you, like because I could tell he was wiped. I just kept praying. I said, please, just let him continue, because I wanted you to get to the end. I wanted you to win. I wanted Seth to get it. When I saw Seth, how emotional he got. To me, I feel like you guys deserved to win, and it was just a great. It was just one of the moments you love to see somebody win something that deserved it. And I feel like you guys worked really hard for it. Not saying that they did not.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they did not deserve it as well. I'm just saying I
Yeah.
was rooting for you guys. I were. I just,
We,
it was just gave me
we
chills.
appreciate that. Yeah. It was such an emotional thing. I don't, other than the birth of my children, whew,
Yeah.
crazy,
Wow.
crazy
Wow.
moment,
It's
crazy
beautiful,
moment.
man.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
crazy moment.
That's why I was excited to talk to you because, yeah, I don't know. I know you said that some of the names that, not to harp on it, but just make my point. The things you said that Don said about you, I didn't see that.
Yeah.
I saw you as a leader on the show. I saw you had many skills, many assets, and I was like, he is the one that they're all fighting back and forth like a bone because he's worth it. I'm just being honest. Like,
Thank you.
I
Yeah.
just want you to understand that. So when you told me she said that, I was like, well, I didn't get that. I just thought, okay, this is a guy is either going to beat everyone or is going to lead a team. I didn't know what was in the beginning watching the first episode. So at the end of it, I was very, very excited to see that you won. Now that you have won and your everything is done, what are some positive things that have happened since your win?
Yeah. So I've retired since the win,
Of
which
course.
yeah, I mean it's not retirement money, right? But I was going to retire at 50
Yes.
anyways, and
Okay.
my fiance is she's just finished her doctorate up, and our plan was for once she finished that up, I was going to retire and do something on my own. So I've just been, man, I just been a wild man. I've just been traveling, and I'm in the outdoor industry as much as possible. I do a lot of hunting and fishing. I've traveled all over the world, bow hunting last year, South Africa. And I'm continue doing that. I've opened up a taxidermy business and doing some other things. Doing some consulting.
Mhm.
Just keeping busy with odds and ends. Being a stay-at-home dad with my two daughters.
Oh, love it.
Yeah. So I got a 10-year-old and a 4-year-old at home, so they keep me busy.
Oh, they're grown women.
I had no idea. Oh my
I trust me, I do know, and I remember being that age.
Yeah.
So, with all the things you've done to traveling, I have to ask this: are you recording this? Is this content? Do you have a YouTube channel?
So
That you're.
So I started all of that right when I first came back off the show. I'm like, all right, I'm going to do podcasting. I'm going to do YouTube channels. I'm going to do all that, and it was eating all my time up. And I was okay with it at first. It was exciting. It was new. I think I did like 20 some podcasts, not my own. I done 2 of my own,
Right.
and like I was just immersed into this stuff. And I lost someone very dear to me. I lost my sister this year,
Oh,
and
I'm so sorry about that.
yeah. So when that happened, I was like, you know what? No, I'm going to enjoy life. So like I just cut all that out, and I just started doing me, and I didn't have to document everything for everyone to see. It was my moments, that would belong to me. Before I was wanting validation from strangers, right? I wanted those Instagram follows, those YouTube, follows and subscriptions. And I don't need that. I don't, if I get it, awesome. But some of these things I just want for me, So yeah, I don't do a whole lot of it. Maybe later I'll pick it back up. So I'm just now starting getting back into the groove and getting back into that. for now,
Yeah,
I'm just,
take your
I'm just,
time whenever you're ready. Yeah. I just think it would be great content, not necessarily you getting on there on a podcast or mic. What I'm doing, I'm saying like there are guys who literally just record what they're doing. Like if you went to Africa,
yeah,
just uploading videos. I mean stuff
yeah,
like that. That would be a great watch to see the adventures and things like that. Is what I
yeah.
mean. But
I have it all recorded, and I've got all of that setting back there, and
oh wow.
I may put it out this year. So I do record everything, and everything's documented. I just haven't released any of it, but I will. They just finished up filming season 2 of Outlast,
Yes. Yes,
so
they did.
that's going to be exciting. Maybe when that pops off and this picks back up, I may start releasing some stuff then. And
What is the wait? Do you know when the episode's coming out? What I'm looking for? Have they released that?
no,
Or they have not?
I don't know, but the timeline is really overlapping ours. So I'm assuming, and I don't know, but I'm assuming probably March.
Because well, they're premiering a lot of shows in January for Netflix. So I was wondering if they were going to add that in there. I really was hoping they were because they're premiering a lot of shows this month actually and
Yeah.
next month. So I was hoping, but yeah, that might be around the time maybe.
Yeah, I know that we were really late with the editing. In this season 1, right? So it's going to
Yeah,
happen, and everyone's just trying to figure out what direction we're
bro
driving
works. Yeah,
the show. Yeah, so maybe they'll come out sooner than that. But again, ours was in March, and I expect this one to be about the same timeline.
probably will be, and I'll be talking about it anyway. Well,
Yeah,
you know what I want to say, Paul. I do appreciate you coming on. This was a really awesome interview, great conversation.
thank
You really, dude. I just want to see you do more. You're good for TV. I'm not gonna lie. So I hope you do put some stuff out, and I hope that maybe we can see you do a guest appearance or something on season 2. Or would you do
you.
reality TV again? Let me ask you that. Would you do anything else again?
Yeah, if for sure, I may even apply for, I don't know, for Survivor. That would be pretty cool, I believe.
I
But
think you should. I don't know. Look, I'm waiting. I'm sitting here saying, why did he apply for Survivor? I think Amazing Race is casting. It's something it's doing right now. But
oh, yeah,
yeah.
yeah, definitely open to it. And I've been staying in pretty good shape, and I'm ready for. And if Outlast were to in season 4 maybe bring back a winners competition, or
Oh
where they,
my God, that would be so good.
yeah,
Or
or maybe,
Legends or something. Yeah.
yeah, I'm open for anything right now.
Well, I also apply for shows too. I'm a blogger. I do reality TV, but people have been pushing me to apply, so I have been. So I don't know if anything happened. I can't tell, of course, but if I
Yeah,
need advice, some point in time I'll try to reach out. Look, I got in. So,
yeah, definitely let me know. That'd be great. That'd be great.
oh my
Yeah,
God! Again, thank you so much for coming on. This was a really, really. I just enjoyed this conversation with you, Pierre. You're really easy to talk to. Great
thanks.
interview. Once again, guys, Outlets is playing right now on Netflix. Please go and binge. It's a really great show. We do have the season 2 coming out, maybe spring. We don't know. Hopefully, but it'll be coming out sometime soon. But with that being said, my name is Commissioner Reviews. I am the queen of reality TV, and I will see you guys next time. Bye.